In this video, I'm going to show you how to perfect your bow hold, as well as how to professionally break some pencils. This video is going to have two parts. First, I'm going to explain to you how the bow grip actually functions, and then we're going to do some exercises. I have been playing violin for over 40 years, and it took me the first 30 to figure out how this contraption actually works. Why is holding the bow so complicated? Here are the basic problems. We have to be able to control the bow with incredible precision in a three-dimensional space, particularly at the tip. We also need to develop an ability of bouncing the bow on the string. Now, because each string has a different response, each part of the bow has a different weight. It feels a little bit like trying to bounce a basketball while walking up and down the stairs, but the basketball is getting smaller or larger depending on which step you bounce it. And when you're trying to score, the basket keeps moving. Sometimes we have to perform for like 3 hours straight, which means that our bow grip has to be incredibly light and efficient. So our arm doesn't feel like it's going to fall off. On the other hand, sometimes we have to transfer so much power into the string that if the bow was a pencil, we probably would snap it in half. Now, to accomplish all of that, I believe we need to understand what each individual finger is doing while holding the bow in order to control it and also refine it. For full disclosure, today I'll be talking about a method of holding the bow that is known as a Franko-Belgian bow hold. Majority of great violinists today use this bow grip. However, there are some notable outliers, starting with one of the most famous one, which is Jascha Heifetz. See, he happened to use what is known as a Russian bow grip, which looks a little bit different, and the Franko-Belgian looks a bit more like that. If you want to master the Russian bow grip, just like Jascha Heifetz, then unfortunately, this video is not for you. I experimented with that bow grip for several years, but being a concertmaster, leading group of musicians where most of them use the Franko-Belgian bow hold, just wasn't very practical. You tend to bow things a little different. Placement of your bow is also changed. So yeah, you need to find a video with someone that really knows what they're talking about and quit watching right now. Or you can stay around and be convinced why this is the way. Here is the job description for each finger. We'll start with the thumb. Now, the thumb is very tricky because it has to support the bow in 2 dimensions. Your thumb has to be able to allow the bow to pivot this way, but also that way, which means that we cannot simply put the thumb like underneath the stick, or we cannot just simply put it on the side. We have to put it kind of in between. Typical mistakes that young players make is that they grab the bow underneath and their thumb keeps sliding through. Now, I have a really fat fingers, so it's kind of sort of just gets stuck and gets the bow hair dirty, but you get an idea. Now let's talk about the middle finger. The job of the middle finger is to prevent the bow from essentially falling off your thumb. See, once the thumb is in the proper position and it can move sort of any direction we want, the middle finger is essentially preventing it from falling out of your hand. See what happens if I release it? See, the bow falls out, and that tells us that we are holding the bow in the proper way. Moving on to the ring finger. A lot of teachers would tell you, put the ring finger down, keep it relaxed. I think that's only part of a story. Reality is that the ring finger is actually very important at adjusting your bow this way. See, sometimes, especially when we're trying to straighten the bow, there's a minute adjustments, and in order to get the bow going this way, that's his job. Now let's move on to the pinky. See, Pinky is kind of similarly complicated like a thumb. We place it not on top, not on the side, but in between. Why? It has two responsibilities. It has to control the bow going up and down like this, so the thumb stays sort of in a central location, like a fulcrum, and pinky goes up and down this way. But our pinky also has to counteract that ring finger that sometimes pulls the bow this way, and the pinky has to have the ability to push it out, right? So that's why we don't put it on top, because if you try to do that, and you do this and you try to push, boom. Or if you put it too much this way, well, then it's just going to fall off, and then yeah, the bow is not doing well. Finally, we're moving on to the index finger. So index finger, a lot of people call it the power finger. What does that mean? That means that we are essentially transferring the weight of the arm onto the bow and then onto the string. Now, how does this work? I think it's time for some science experiment. Here, I have a kitchen scale. So I have a little piece of wood, so I have something to rest my bow on. I'm going to try to measure how much weight can I add using my index finger muscles alone. The bow weighs 0.6 ounce, so now I'm going to add the index finger muscle, and I got 6 ounces of pressure. Not bad. What happens if, rather than just using the index finger, I'm going to use what is called torsion. I'm going to rotate my bow arm sideways like this. Take my bow and use the motion of the forearm to twist it. How much weight do you think I can put down on this scale? Oh, come on, we can do better than that. I don't want to break the bow. Oh, there you go. 13 ounces. Let's get through some exercises that will help you to reinforce this new information on how each finger on the bow should function. So the first one is something that we've done before, which is you put your thumb not underneath, not on the side, but in between. You cap it with your middle finger. Then you grab your bow right here. Let's say probably do it over the carpet or like a couch or a bed. And now the test is, if I release my middle finger, is the bow going to fall out or is it going to stay? So you see, as soon as I release it, I let it swing out. I'm like, okay. Now, if I stick my thumb a little bit deeper, look, I can release and the bow is going to stay. That's bad. We want it to actually fall out. I cannot hold the bow unless I have that finger in place. So now, the ring finger. The exercise is going to go simply like this. I'm going to put my bow on my shoulder. Hopefully I don't have too much rosin on it, because black shirt and rosin, not so good. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to simply pull, kind of almost like brush off things of my shoulder. Just like that. Easy peasy, right? If you can do that, that means that your ring finger is in the right place and is doing the right job. There are a lot of different wonderful pinky exercises. Some of my favorite ones, pinky push-ups. So you essentially just do that. Now, if you can do that and your bow is not falling down, like, see, if your pinky is in the kind of like a position like this and you try to do them, the pinky is going to slip. I like to do that when my bow hair is flat. You can do it also with the side, that makes it just a little bit, I think, a little easier. But bow hair flat, yeah, that's where the money is. The next exercise is to actually wiggle your pinky back and forth. And my test is that if you can do this for about 30 seconds and this for 30 seconds, and the bow is not falling out of your hand, that means that you have a stable bow grip. Once you can move it this way, then what I like to do, I like to draw circles with, again, this is just my, essentially, you see, pinky is performing all of that. If I lift my index, you can see that mobility in circles and backwards and forwards and all sorts of things. You can invent your own exercises within those guidelines. The best exercise that I found for the index finger placement and function looks like this. You put your bow close to the frog and you lift the index. You draw your bow past the balance point, about here, and you switch. You put your index finger down and lift the pinky up. In ideal circumstances, this is a great exercise to avoid squeezing of the bow where the thumb is pressing against the index and the pinky at the same time. It should be one or the other. Switch. Switch. You keep your eyes peeled to when you put in your index finger, where does the index finger land? In the Franko-Belgian bow grip, you want your index finger to touch the bow between this and this joint. There's a little bit of a variation, but we don't want to go this way because that makes it into a Russian bow grip, and we're not learning that today. Or you don't want to go this way either because that doesn't even have a name. That's just really, really bad violin playing. So how much force does it take to break a pencil with a proper bow hold? Well, let's give it a try. Well, that was kind of expected. I hope you enjoyed this lesson. Good luck practicing. Let me know in the comments how is your progress, and feel free to ask any questions.